to me what it meant, and if I got the gist of it, it's somebody who's clearly asking some important questions, right? Who's clearly on a journey. Sometimes it's a journey that includes doubt, right? This journey of finding out what God is all about, what God is doing, if God is even real. That's a journey we take, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow and talk about my personal journey a little bit and how I feel like God might support that and says yes to the questions and the journey. I know some of you guys might thinking, man, I didn't know Isai's sister came. No, it's me. I'm here. All right, this is not, somebody was singing this morning and saw me in the back and thought, there's a new lady here. Like, no, it's just me. Yeah, that's you. You did this to me. So no, this is my hair. I felt like we're in family, so I could just relax a little bit and be loose. Yes? Yeah. Okay. Good. Awesome. So I've noticed something recently. Okay, I've noticed something recently, and I think theoretically speaking, positive people who are genuinely positive, right? Positive people should be the most loved people ever, right? The people who are positive, who have a positive attitude, those should be the people that people love the most. People should go to them and want to gravitate to them, right? But I've noticed that it's not the case. That's not the case a lot of the times. Sometimes a positive person, a person with a more positive outlook on life, is the last person that you want around you. If you know what I'm talking about, say, Okay, see, all right, you guys are here. So picture yourself going through a rough day, right? Just one of those days that it's just a rough, right? Rough day. You failed your test, all right? I'm sure none of you guys fail your tests. So that might not apply to you. But just imagine with me that you fail your test. Your parents, for some reason, are mad at you. Your friend shared some horrible rumor about you. And on top of that, you're hungry. And when you're hungry, you're upset. You're annoyed. I don't know, maybe you're a happy hungry. I'm a hangry, as we call it. It's a hungry/angry. When I'm hungry, I get hangry. You guys know anybody else get hangry here? Yeah, okay, thanks for being honest. When I'm hungry, I'm not in a good mood. So just picture at the end of your day, having this horrible day, the last person that you want to see is this really positive person. Hey, how's it going? That's the last person you want to see. And everybody in their friend group, they have that person. They have that positive person. If you don't know who that is in your friend group, that might be you, okay? And in my friend group, it's me. I am that positive guy. I am the guy who wants to have a positive outlook on everything. And sometimes it works out in my favor. Sometimes people want to be around me, right? But other times it doesn't work out. In college, in our friend group, there was this one girl who was just not having it. Every time I'd be positive, I'd catch her in the wrong time. And it got to a point where she was super annoyed with me, all right? Like I just showed, like, you know how I thought of Kevin? That's how she thought about me, okay? That's how she thought about me. I'm sure like she thought I was really annoying, and she would be having a horrible day, and I'd come in and I don't know what I'd do. I don't know if it was my smile. I don't know what it was, but I would just sit down and she was like, ugh. What? I didn't do anything. I'm having a great day. Are you having a great day? And she would just nod and just hated being around me. But she was in our friend group, you know. I remember one time we went camping, and I could tell, I spotted her once. It was between meals, and I spotted her once, and she clearly looked distressed. She looked like she was having a horrible day. I don't know what was going on with her, but you know, she was kind of like teary-eyed, but like that mad teary-eyed, and she was in the corner just like upset, and I could tell. And so positive Isai went up to her, and I was like, hey, just smile. And she lost it on me. She was like, are you serious? Don't tell me to smile right now. And I'm like, whoa, what happened? I asked for it. I probably shouldn't have just gone and been this super happy person, right? I shouldn't have done that, but she lost it on me. She hated when I would do that, right? You would think that a positive person is someone that you want to have around, but sometimes it's not. Right? I find it interesting that this overly positive, optimistic person, or this overly positive or optimistic point of view has become annoying, has become maybe looked down upon. And yeah, there's a point where you can overdo it, right? You can overdo it and be annoying, right? But I've noticed that that's popular, this perspective of positivity that's like, you're foolish, right? There's always tension between realism, being real, and being optimist, because on the other hand of this, if we saw the world in a purely negative way, we would not be able to move forward. That's not a positive life to live. That's difficult as well, and I'm always caught in this balance of either being really positive and looking at the world's problem and saying, we're gonna be okay, and then on the other hand, looking at the reality and being like, man, this is rough. I'm always caught in this balance. And I want to introduce some new language. You guys might have talked about this in religion class, or someday we'll talk about this. There's a concept in philosophy that is used to categorize these different claims. All right, so I'm going to teach you guys some terminology here. We all make claims, right? The weather is beautiful. That's a claim, all right? I just saw a car. That's a claim, right? This so-and-so person is really funny, all right? I tried, Bruno's today, the right way, all right? Shout out to some people who helped me out try the right way. I thought you were supposed to use it like you would put it in a sandwich, with tomato and everything, and then I put it in the toaster. And I was like, why doesn't this cheese melt? What's wrong with this cheese? So now I know you're supposed to eat it with jelly and stuff like that, so it's pretty good. So thank you very much. So we all make claims. Bruno's is good. That's a claim, right? And so philosophers have put these claims into two main categories. How many categories? Two, all right? There's the descriptive. Everybody say descriptive. And the normative. Descriptive, normative. Beautiful. Okay, that's just to keep you guys awake. So the descriptive, we'll start there. The descriptive is a statement that describes something, right? That's pretty easy. That just describes something, describes your understanding about what something is, without any sort of evaluation towards a certain standard, right? So you're just describing it. You're not evaluating it at all. You're just describing it. For example, the moon is made out of cheese. That's false, I'm sure, but it's a descriptive claim because you're sharing your understanding. The car is red. That's a descriptive. Isai's hair is long. That's descriptive, right? So even if you have an opinion about your claim, it's not being expressed in the claim itself. You're not expressing if it's better or worse. You're simply describing it. So then there's normative, all right? Normative is a statement that expresses evaluation of something. You're actually assessing it in relation to some standard, right? You hear language like good and bad and better. For example, descriptive claim is Isai's hair is long. Normative claim is Isai's hair is too long. So now you put your own evaluation to it. Your opinion is in there somewhere, right? Leonardo DiCaprio is a horrible actor. That is a normative claim. I know some of you guys hate me right now. Teslas are good cars. You hear, yeah, some of you guys agree. They're good cars. I'm saying the word good, so I'm putting some sort of evaluation on it, right? You should be more like him. That's an evaluation. That movie, Black Panther, was good. That movie was so good. That's a normative claim. Broccoli, horrible. That's a normative claim, right? We're actually putting our own opinion into this. The descriptive is a must for communication. We need to use the descriptive in order to survive. We need to be able to call things out. This is that. In order to communicate, we need to speak in the descriptive. But the normative, when you put your own opinion in something, is something that you have to grow into. Speaking in the normative, you have to grow into that. Sharing your opinion or sharing how things should be is something that sometimes it's hard to do. But I think it's necessary. It's necessary for us to be able to dream. It's necessary for us to be able to hope. We need to put in our own evaluation. We need to start talking of how things should be, how things could be, in order for things to actually change. There's a story in Acts chapter 3, verse 1 through 11. And it says this: Now Peter and John were going up to the temple at the hour of prayer, the 9th hour. And a man lame from birth was being carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, that is called the Beautiful Gate, to ask alms of those entering the temple. So there's this man who's not able to walk. They put him in the temple. He's asking for money. Seeing Peter and John about to go in the temple, he asked to receive alms. And Peter directed his gaze at him, as did John, and said, "Look at us." And he fixed his attention on them, expecting to receive something from them. But Peter said, "I have no silver and gold, but what I have I give to you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk." And he took him by the right hand and raised him up, and immediately his feet and ankles were made strong. And leaping, he was jumping. Leaping up, he stood and began to walk, and entered the temple with them, walking and leaping and praising God. And all the people saw him and saw him walking and praising God, and recognized him as the one who sat at the beautiful gate of the temple asking for alms. And they were filled with wonder and amazement at what had happened. What a cool story. Basically, there's this guy, he can't walk, he's at the side of the temple, all he's doing is asking for money. He's not asking for anything else. He's just asking for money. And then Peter and John come, and they said, "I don't have any money, but what I do have, I give to you." And there's a miracle that happens. This man is able to walk. Now, something that is kind of interesting to me. This man was probably lame for a long time. He probably wasn't able to walk for a long time. But he got to a point where this problem that he had become normal. That had been normal, and he wasn't expecting to be healed. It became normal. That's just how things are. That's how my life is. I'm not able to walk. So I'm not going to try to walk. I'm not going to expect me to be able to walk. I'm not going to have that false expectation. I'm not even going to ask for that. Instead, I'm just going to ask for money. I'll just ask him for money. He grew to see his problem as something that just was, right? Something that just happened to him, something that could never be changed. This guy was so used to his issue that he was not asking for anything but money. He settled for asking for money because he grew to see his problem as something that was going to stay forever. And of course, we have to admit this guy was probably paralyzed since birth, and he had good reason to settle and to see his problem as something that's going to stay, right? To walk again would be nearly impossible. But I want to ask you guys today, and I want you to think about this in your own life. How quick are we to put our problems in the impossible category? How quick are we to put our problems in the impossible category, in the category of nothing can be done about this? Have you ever looked at a problem in your life and have just settled? You've just said, this is how things are. You've talked in the descriptive. You said, this is how things are, right? You haven't moved into, maybe there could be something different. This problem that you have in your life, this thing that you experience in your life, you've settled and you've said, well, that's how things are. When I was younger, I had a lot of problems, but I'm going to tell you about one of them today. So we're in family here, right? We're in family, so I'm going to share something that's close to my heart. When I was little, I had a problem with picking my nose. All right, I would pick my nose when I was little, and it wasn't like the normal, like once a week kind of flick. It wasn't that. By the way, I never ate my boogers, but there's a lot of kids that I found out, like when I talk to my friends, they're like, yeah, I did that when I was younger. I was like, oh my God, well, that's crazy. But I never did that. I just would pick my nose, right? I would just pick my nose all the time. Just all the time I was picking my nose. And my parents would tell me at the beginning, Isai, stop doing that. That's gross, and I'd stop. But then like a minute later, my hand didn't know what to do, so I'd just make my way. I just can't, I'm not gonna pick my nose right now. It would make my way back into my nose, and I'd start picking it. And my parents again would, Isai, yeah, stop picking your nose. Oh, okay, sorry. And that kept going. Later on that day, my finger. And I don't know if it needs some warmth or just needs something to do. And I just picked my nose. That was something I did. And my parents would repeat it over and over again. Isai, stop doing that. That's gross. People are going to think you're gross. People are going to think, and parents, I feel like my parents always did this. They wouldn't say that you should do this because of your own good. They would say, you should do this because people are going to think we're bad parents. They always did that. Anybody have parents like that? Oh, you have some great parents. My parents were like that. They're like, Isai, stop picking your nose because people are going to think you don't have a mom. You say, stop picking your nose, they're going to think you have bad parents. And I'd stop, but after a while, I started getting used to it. And my parents started getting used to it too. And after a while, they stopped. They stopped telling me, Isai, stop doing that. They're like, this kid, what are we going to do with him? That's just what he does. And I thought to myself, this is what I do. Little 6-year-old Isai, this is what I do. I just pick my nose. It's part of who I am. I forgot that it was a problem. I forgot that it's something that was gross and that needed to change. And I started, like a year and a half passed, and I was that kid who would pick my nose. I was 7 years old, and I was still picking my nose, nonstop, just in the middle of class. And I'd pick my nose again. And it all culminated to this scenario. One time, I went to a family reunion. I don't know if it was Christmas or something, but all our family was together. And I didn't know that this particular aunt was going to be there, but she shows up. Now, this aunt is my favorite aunt of all times. You might think, oh, I don't have a favorite aunt or uncle, but you do. You have your favorite one, and I had my favorite one. She was my favorite one. I loved her. She used to give me things. That's probably why I liked her. But she was so sweet to me, right? She was so sweet, and she came to this family reunion, and I was like, oh my gosh, Tia, Aunt, you're here. And so we were talking, we were hanging out, and sometime during the night, I was just in my little corner. I saw my finger, and I started picking my nose, as I do. And my whole family, by that point, they knew, oh, it's Isai, it's Isai, that's what he does. But my aunt was not going to have it. And he's like, Isai, stop doing that. Stop doing that, that's gross. And I answered to her, I actually do remember this. This is a real story. I'm like, Tia, Aunt, don't you know? This is what I do. I pick my nose. You're supposed to know. You know that. I'm Isai. I'm a kid who picks my nose. And that's when she stopped. And she wasn't smiling or joking anymore. She was like, Isai, from this day on, you can never do this again. What? Ever? Like, ever. She was not having it. I got to a point where I had seen this problem that I had. I had seen this gross little thing that I would do as normal, to the point where I told my aunt, I was like, this is who I am. I'm going to be a 20-year-old man and still pick my nose in family reunions. This is part of who I am. And not only did I believe that, but my whole family believed that too. They got to a point where, Isai, that's just who he is. What are we going to do with him, right? We got to a point where we settled. And sometimes, of course, I hope your issue isn't picking your nose anymore. If it is, you shouldn't do that. That's kind of gross. But maybe you have something in your life, right? Something that you've just settled. Some problem that in your life that maybe has been going on for so long that all of a sudden, like it's part of who I am. I'm a C student. I don't know how grades work here. Is it A, B, C and stuff? Or is it percentage? What's the highest? 6. I'm a 2.5 or 3 student. That's who I am. Sorry, I just get those grades, Or I'm a procrastinator. That's just who I am. I just do my stuff the night before. And yeah, it might not be my best work, but I'm Isai. That's who I am. Maybe when it comes to bullying, we see this in other people. If we spot that somebody is bullying somebody else, we say, oh, well, that's who he is. That's who she is. That's normal. Oh, I know it's weird, but that's just normal. That's just how life is. When it comes to relationships, when there's broken relationships between us and our friends, between us and our parents, between us and our significant other, we say, oh, okay, well, our relationship is just going to be like that. That's just how things are. Nothing's going to be able to change. I remember one time I was talking to a friend, and she was sharing to me that her parents had gotten a divorce, which is extremely common now. And I'm sure many of your parents have separated or gotten a divorce. And she says, yeah, my parents have gotten a divorce, so I think that someday I'm probably going to get a divorce too. I'm like, why? Why is that? Why would you say that? And she said, because statistically, kids of parents who've gotten divorced will probably get divorced when they get married. That kind of stayed with me for a long time. Really, is that the way to see the world? Right? Later in life, a year ago, my parents sat me down and said, yeah, we can't do this anymore. And my parents right now are separated. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more on Friday, but when we see situations like this, we have 2 ways of looking at it, right? We can look at it and say, well, that's just how life is. We can look at it and just say, well, that's nothing's going to ever change. Or we can look at it and say, hey, what if we can create something different? What if we don't lose that? What if we can just still imagine what life could be without this problem? We need to be able to dream in this way. It could be with your habits. Oh, I do drugs. That's just what I do. That's who I am. I want to stop, but that's just who I am. I'm going to be that. I cuss. I treat people badly. I watch pornography. That's just who I am. That's just who I am. Nothing's going to change in me, right? Today, I want you guys to pinpoint those problems in your life that you've settled with, that you've forgotten about, that you've just given in. I give in to this problem because I'm never going to be able to move out. Just know, guys, know today that God gives us the ability to look at life in a different way. Through the resurrection of Jesus, we're able to see not a world that is impossible to change, not a world that is going down and will never be better again. We see a world that with hope, right? We see a world that can be changed, a world that where we can change and become better people. And I hope that you can look at the problems in your life and not settle. Don't settle. And yes, guys, I know it's difficult right now. I know sometimes we look around in the world and we say, man, I think just the world is horrible. I mentioned it earlier, but it's been crazy in the U.S. to see mass shooting after mass shooting after mass shooting. And it's easy to say, man, well, this is how life is. This is how life is. Nothing's going to ever change and settle. I know it's easy to do that. But I hope that today you're able to see life in a brand new way. Know that through Jesus, we can begin to see a life that can become better, a life that we can work with, and a life that we can change, and we can begin to figure out and think and dialogue about how to solve these problems that are all around us. May we not settle. This is my hope for you. May you get out of your comfort zone. May you see problems in your life as challenges to face and overcome. Not always as your reality. And yes, I'm not talking about being overly optimistic, but leaning on the side of hope. Leaning on the side of seeing the world in a new and beautiful way. May you be motivated to work toward a better reality for yourself and for each other. And know that Jesus is there with you and is ready to walk with you to a better way of living. Jesus is with you. Let me pray for you. Dear Jesus, we thank you for presenting a gospel that doesn't just leave us in the same place that we started in. Thank you for giving us hope. Hope that something better will come, Lord. Yes, we believe that you will come once again. But until then, we also believe that you are moving and you are guiding us and you are teaching us how to live better lives, Lord. And may we not settle to be statistics. May we not just be okay with the problems in our world, but may you motivate us. May your love motivate us to engage in the world's healing. We thank you for this time that we get to be together. May you bless us. Thank you, Jesus. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen. I'm going to ask the band to come up. We're going to sing one last song. And maybe you've heard it before. It's a hymn called It Is Well. If you know it, please sing along.